Today is the 11th day of Tishrei, the 13th of October. And we're holding by chapter 23. We started chapter 23, but it was very auspicious because you could say the Yom Kippur is the day of Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed. Because 4 times, apart from the twice that we say, 3 times that we say Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed in Kriyas Shema, we say it aloud, that we don't the rest of the year. And the reason is probably because this was the day that's God's name, Havaya's name, because the high priest would say Hashem's name 3 times, right? 3 times, and one more time that we bow down in Aleinu, but 3 times that he would say Hashem's name, actually say it. It's very interesting why the middle one, we don't bow down, because apparently he didn't say it, even though it says V'chol ha'am Korim Mishtachavim, even though it says, because it's a different verse. It says, the usual one is Lifnei, it ends with Hashem. It's not Lifnei Hashem Titaru, but Lifnei Hashem. And then he doesn't say the Titaru, Lifnei Hashem. And at the Hashem, everybody bowed down. But the other one is, it's with the Seir. What do you say? Kodesh Lashem, not Kodesh Lashem. I don't remember. Something, the Hashem comes first. So I guess they didn't bow down. Okay, Kodesh Hashem. I don't remember what they used to say. They used to say something. Anyway.
That's why it says in Siddur not to bow down.
Right. It's a different pasuk. And that pasuk doesn't end with Hashem. In any case, so Yom Kippur is really the day of Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed. Why? Because it's the day that we see Hashem's kingdom on earth. It's the only day of the year that we can truly say that Hashem has come down all the way. And we go up a little bit. And Yom Kippur, everybody feels that they're a few inches above the ground. They're not completely connected to this world. Yom Bli, without all the terrible things that we have during our lives, you have one day of respite from all this. And it's really a day of Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed. You see the kingdom of His name. Okay, V'nei achar kach, chapter 23. V'nei achar kach tzarich liot Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed. We still, what we need to do, and I told Levi before, I saw in Moshe Shilatz Mayanot, so they brought a letter from a mashpia in the early years of Tomchei Tmimim, and somebody asked him about davening, about tefillah. And it's a beautiful letter, and it highlights that we have 2 centers during the davening. We have the Shema and we have the Amidah. So which one is the Ikar? And interestingly there, and the Rebbe also with this, Shema it looks the same. When you write the Shmoneh in an acronym, it looks the same as Shema. So the Rebbe there concurs with this point. He has other points that he doesn't exactly agree with, but this point he agrees that the davening was built on the Shema, not on the Shmoneh. We see that. It's very clear that everything is leading up to the Shema. Now, in Kabbalah, they took it all together, and they made it up to Shema, the 3 lower worlds, and Shmoneh being Atzilus. But it's also not exactly Atzilus. It's Atzilus, but in a strange way, and we'll deal with it. I want to bring that letter, and I also want to bring the Rebbe's comments on it, because they're very, very enlightening. So this idea so his idea was basically that Kriyas Shema is the hisbonenus that we do in davening. That's where we do the preparation for loving God, for ve'ahavta. So basically what he says is that everything that we do up to and including Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad is really a preparation for ve'ahavta, to come to love of Hashem. But Shmoneh Esrei is Yira. It's a different position altogether. The person stands in Yira. Now, if you remember in chapter 2, he started by saying that interesting, Dafka and Shema, we're already in the world of Atzilut. We are already doing the Yichud of Atzilut, which is Abba and Ima. So it's very interesting. So he says, really, you go all the way up to Atzilut until Shema. And then, this is how the Mekubalim saw it. And then you bring it down. The Shmoneh Esrei is bringing it down. because Shemona Esrei is completely the opposite. Now the Rebbe has a beautiful, beautiful note about this, and B'ezras Hashem will go over it. In short, I'll just say it because it's so beautiful. He says, up to Shema, we're going higher and higher, and then in Shemona Esrei we come back to our worldly needs. Because what is Shemona Esrei? Shemona Esrei is it's kind of anticlimactic, because you started out becoming more and more spiritual, until more and more abstract, more and more intellectual, until Shema is like the C, the climax. And then you think, well, at this level, what am I going to say? Now I'm going to be at the level of Yom Kippur. I'm going to be completely separate from the body. And then suddenly Shemona Esrei is all about the needs of the body. Everything, from beginning to end. It's all that we need physically in this world. So what happened?
The story that was a kid with the Regina, he was 6 years old. You know the story that Regina said to him, but this is me. So he was 6 and he asked the Baratanya. The Baratanya told him, kid, you're right. That's why we're Baruch Shem Baruch. So the Hafta is really down. Baruch Shem Baruch is the transformer, going thing from Shema Yisrael
down to me. The Hafta should be me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it could be already there. There's a descent.
It's in the way.
But so the Alter Rebbe says. So the Rebbe says like this. He says that everything until Shemona Esrei is for the animal soul. The animal soul, to fight itself, it has to go up. The divine soul, which is what Shemona Esrei is for, had to fight itself, has to come back down. Very interesting. It says each one goes against its nature. Because it says, Mi yodea, nefesh ha'behema yoredet imata, nefesh ha'adam ha'ola imana. Mi yodea is not a question, does anybody know? In the sense of, is this how it is? No, it's like, who knows? You should know this. That the nature of the animal soul is to bring you down. The nature of the divine soul is to take you up. But each one has to overcome its nature. So he says the beginning of all the way until Shemona Esrei is fighting our animal soul, to elevate as high as we can. Once we've finished with the animal soul, now we come down with the divine soul. And there he uses, one of the biggest chidushim for me when I started hearing Rav Yitzchak, was that bittul means to come down. We talked about this.
3 levels of
Come down. Bittul means ol mitzvot. It's to be in this world. That's the bittul. And he learns this from Moshe Rabbeinu. When did Moshe Rabbeinu say v'nachnu ma? When did he say we're nothing? We're nullified? When he brought the man down. That's what it means to have bittul, to go into this world. In any case, B'ezras Hashem will see it. I think it's a beautiful letter and a response from the Rebbe. The Rebbe, I don't know if he sent it to him. It's in the Reshimos, in the notes, his personal notes. So we talked last time about these two perspectives that God has and that we have. I also heard something very beautiful, I think it was from the Reginer also, that on Yom Kippur he used to say, when Hashem, you gave me my perspective, and so I have what I love and what I need. You gave me my perspective. My perspective is a worldly perspective. I can't fight it. This is how you wanted me to see the world, from the mundane, from a point of view of a human being. When I have your perspective, I'll want what you want. Very, very sharp. That we're not against our human perspective. We just have to elevate it. But still, you have to use it, because that's what Hashem wants. And really, they match up, these two. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the first verse, which has 25 letters, and the second verse, Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed, which has 24 letters, and today together they have 49. There's a lot about that. It's a square of 49 letters, and a lot to say about that, but not now. And the last word, Echad, in the first verse is the same as Va'ed, as forever, in the second verse when you transpose the letters. Because this verse, Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto L'Olam V'ed, which Moses didn't put into the Pentateuch, he He didn't write it, neither when Yaakov said it, nor when he said the Shema. Neither time did he put it in, but we know that Yaakov said it. And like we said, on Yom Kippur we say it out loud. So it designates the creation or the coming into being of the three lower worlds: creation, formation, and action. Bria, Yetzirah, Asiyah. And how do they come into formation, into being? We said this is the act of the Malchus of Atzilus, the kingdom of emanation. And a lot of Kabbalah runs around this Malchus of Atzilus, because it's a very important thing that takes from the world of emanation, where there's only consciousness of Hashem, and creates a separate existence. So what is Malchus of Atzilus? That's like a technical jargon. The sages, says the Alter Rebbe, they call this the Shechina. What is the Shechina? Shechina, says the Alter Rebbe in the Tanya, in Epistle 26, where he's talking about when David was cursed, and by Shimi ben Gira, and he told Yoav, don't kill him, and so on. So in that epistle he explains, he gives a whole dictionary. I said once that a person has to have a dictionary to update the language. So what they called Shechina, and what the Kabbalists call Malchus Atzilus, we call sometimes Rachel, which is also from the Zohar, or Olam HaDibur, speech. Speech is what brings down the emanation into the lower worlds. ושם כבוד מלכותו הוא עניין התלבשות המלכות בגימל עולמות ביאה, כמו שהוסבר לעיל, סוף אות י"ג. And the name of his kingdom, the honor of the name of his kingdom, or the name of the honor of his kingdom, is how it encloses itself, it invests itself, the Malchus of Atzilus, the speech, in the three lower worlds, as was explained in chapter 13. והנה לשון בריאה ולשון הקודש הוא על התהוות יש מאין. As we know from the Ramban, Nachmanides, the first verse of the Torah, he explains that there is no other verb in Hebrew that means something from nothing but bria. Bria means to create. So that's something from nothing. Meaning, in other words, why is this called something from nothing? It's not really something from nothing. It's not really, because it's not from nothing. How can you say that the world was created from nothing? It was created from Hashem. Not only was it created from Hashem, it is Hashem, it's part of Hashem. So how can you say it was created from nothing? So he says this thing, sometimes when you say something from nothing, for lack of better language, it means many things. We just don't have enough technical terms to cover everything. It's not like today's science. That's why German used to be the language of science, and it's bad that English is. Because English is not as exact as German is. In German, you can make up words very easily and be very, very precise in it. What German does for the outside world, Yiddish does for the inside world. This is something that we lost from it moving from German. So today they use all kinds of words from Latin and from Greek in order to make up, to compensate. Because English has a pronounced lack of words, not the words, English has more words than German, but it has a pronounced lack of ability to create words. It's very hard to create words in English. So you have to borrow from Latin and from Greek. So in Hebrew it's much, much worse. We just don't have words for anything. So we have to pile on meaning after meaning after meaning. Again, it's the same word. Everything's famous that the most useful word in Hebrew is nu. That's it, I covered everything. From come here to go there to leave to everything is covered by nu. So this word yesh me'ayin, something from nothing, here it means that the creation feels that it came out of nothing. We talked about this in length because the Rebbe Morash, whose yortzeit is when? Erev Sukkos, the 13th of Tishrei, in 2 days. Thank you. So it's in 2 days. He was the one who coined the concept. It wasn't discussed before using this language, as far as I know. Metziuti me'atzmuti. My existence is from myself, which just sounds awfully a lot like Pharaoh, who said, Ani oriv, ani asitini. And he coined it in order to say that it's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. And the Rebbe then builds on it a lot. We know that the Rebbe sometimes used to say that if you want to understand where my Chassidus comes from, not everything else, but my Chassidus, like to understand my thinking in Chassidus from the Rebbe Morash. He said he's most similar to the Rebbe Morash. So, what does this mean? It means that the creation, the person feels that they came out of nothing. Even though we all know that we came from our mothers, we don't have a psychological hang-up with that. It's very interesting. We have no recollection of it. Nothing. All these people that do rebirth and all that, it's also bubba-maisis. It's nonsense. The person doesn't remember anything from it. Even if it was traumatic, there's nothing left over from it. I don't know, maybe at the tissue level, but not at any level of consciousness. So they remembered before, but they don't remember that they came from their mother. They remember that they came from their father. They were a seed, that they said, but not that they came from their mother. And it's even the Maggid once said about the Baal Shem Tov, if they didn't tell me that he was a Yalud Isha, he was born from a woman, I wouldn't believe it. Somebody had to tell me, because we have no recollection. Every one of us feels that we came out of nothing. There's nothing before us. There was nothing here before us. There probably won't be anything after us. So we'll end here, because we have to start.